Episode number 26 with Steve and Mike. Welcome to the Headsuppokerpodcast. This is Steve Barton.
And this is a highly disoriented Mike Snyderman.
How many hours of sleep are you going on right now, dude?
I don't know. I came back. I don't know what time I got knocked out of this tournament last night. 4. Took a while to get paid. Then Carlos was there, and we had some lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever the fuck you call it, at 5:30 in the morning, and then came back here. And was still wired and walking around. Probably got to bed at 7 and woke up at 10. So I probably got 3 hours.
Okay. Is Carlos there with you? Or?
No. I don't know what he's up to. He was going to go play some satellites at 6 in the morning. He's chipper. I don't know. He's like, yeah. Wow. I don't know. He's like an alien being for not needing sleep too. I'm similar that way. I could probably go the whole week getting just 3 or 4 hours a night. And then on like night 8, I will collapse, and sleep for like 14 straight hours. My body, at some point, your body just demands that you catch up. But right now, I actually don't feel too bad.
Well, let's fill everyone in. You've gotten that tournament that we were talking about last week. You shipped it, right? You came back with 18 big blinds and
it's ridiculous.
Yes.
I actually called myself Ship It Snyderman last week too.
You did. You called it. You were saying I was Babe Ruth calling his shot, but that was you, man. That was impressive. Yeah,
I wasn't even like trying to pump myself up or psych myself up. But but the joy of that one is kind of fallen down because yesterday I got knocked out of the Planet Hollywood at $500,000 guarantee with $565 buy-in. There was over 2,000 entries, so they doubled there was over $1 million in the prize pool.
Wow!
And there was 160,000 for first. And I swear to God, I really thought I was going to win this one too. I think I told you, with like 30 players to go, the average chip stack was like 700,000, and I had like 3.1 million.
Oh, well.
Probably the next in chips was probably like 1.2 million or something at the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
And anyways, I ended up kind of just slowly going the right. I was running good all day, of course. I rode the short stack for like 4 or 5 hours. I was really, really happy with how I played. Like yesterday, me and Carlos were talking about it. I said, man, that's just the best poker I played. There's a couple hands we kind of discuss. Well, I could have done this. But I was I was just kind of running into it for a while and card dead. And, people are playing back at me, when I was opening light. And then I finally, guy 3-bet over the most aggressive guy at the table. We were only 7-handed, so I figured, well, this could be. I knew he was strong, but I had jacks and just 25 big blinds left. So yeah. I put my last 1.5 million in there, and this guy had ace king suited, and 8, 6, 5, deuce, ace on the river. So 14th place, paid $11K, but
that's awesome.
First place was $160K.
Oh, you always look at first, yeah, of course.
Well,
everyone does.
So, right now I should be just ecstatic about things.
Well, how much are you up? You haven't even been out there a week, right? And you're up almost 60K?
Yeah, something, Well, the tournament I won, I guess we should talk about real quick.
Yeah.
That was, everyone knew what tournament that was. That was the Venetian 250K guarantee.
Yeah.
And, again, short stack, I got real lucky early. I'm not gonna lie. Button opens. I have 16 bigs and jacks. I jam. Small blind rejams, and we all get it in. Queens for the button, jacks for me, 10 for the big blind. So I was in the small blind, and jack on the river.
Perfect.
So I hit my 2 outer. So really, anything that goes on after this is and in that tournament, I don't know, man. I played really well. I really did. And then once we got to the final few tables, this is why that previous tournament was different. The one I won was a little different than last night, where there was definitely some pros there who, if they think you're fucking around with them, are going to shove it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this previous tournament, I think they were pretty straightforward. Like I just kept calling calling openings in position, and I was like floating every flop. And if they didn't have top pair, they just were done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There were some really good players there, but I'd have to pick it up. But last night I was just getting frustrated because I always like to be the craziest one at the table.
Yeah.
And you know.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a quick episode in, and just talk about your recent scores.
I told you how out of it I am. I rushed down to sign up for the 1500 six max today, and the lady's like, "That's tomorrow. That's Wednesday." I'm like, "Are you sure it's not Wednesday?" And like I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. And I went down there. It's like somehow I don't know if my leg fell asleep, but I was limping badly. My leg hurt, like rushing to get down there because I knew it started at noon, and I wanted to be like ready by 11, so I go up and take a shower, and but I'm out of it. But so my mind's going to be bouncing around. Anyways, the tournament I won, yeah, I don't know, man. I just played really well, I thought. But yeah, it was kind of funny. I think I gave you the details on this over the phone. I go heads up with a guy who's just absolutely shit-faced drunk. Well, he's English from it, so maybe for the English that's not really drunk. I don't know.
Oh, you didn't tell me this, no.
And I felt it started with a heads up play. I had like a massive stack at the final table, like when we sat down. Like,
yeah.
Again, it was very similar to, I can't remember. Like, I had 30% of the chips when the heads up, when the final table started. And the guy who was second chips was this English guy that I ended up going heads up with. I had top two pair against his flush draw. I was a 68% favorite, and with 8 to go, and he sucked out of me, or whatever, And otherwise, I would have had like half the chips in play with 7 to go. With 7 to go, and I could have probably negotiated for the first place, which was $55K or something right there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, like I said, we got heads up. And he actually had a decent chip stack lead on me when we started heads up. He had like 4.2, and I had 3.3 million.
Okay.
And he had like 12 English guys on the rail who were drinking and cheering him on. They wanted to go to a bar. He's like, "Man, let's make a deal." I said, "Okay." I said, "We'll split it 50-50, and I get the trophy." He's like, "Are you kidding me, mate?" The funny thing is, I thought he was kind of bad just because but then I looked afterwards at his scores, and this guy's like coming in second in an EPT. He's got like $1 million in career earnings.
Oh, wow.
So the funny thing is, I wasn't even trying to, I really thought I'd win the heads up match. So it was like, no, I wasn't even being a jerk, really. It's just like I couldn't. So, we did make a deal, so rather than, it was a ridiculous jump between first was 55,000, and I think second was 34.
Okay.
I mean, maybe that's not ridiculous, maybe this average, but, I didn't really feel like playing a 21,000 heads up sit and go.
Yeah.
So we made a deal for 40K each. And kind of his way to break, and kind of his rail was like, "Come on, mate, you should have made the deal and just taken what you can get here. This is Charles you're playing against her." You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But, anyway, I took if I really wanted to be, because they so wanted to get out of there. He's like, this mate's like, "Come on, let's go to the bar." Like, if I really wanted to be a jerk, like, we started 90 big blinds deep. I could have taken 30 seconds before every decision and slowed that down and said, "Okay, get ready. We're going to be sitting here for 8 fucking hours."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And just kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it probably would have, but, yeah, like I hit, I got lucky with one hand to take a lead. I got aces against his ace queen and all got in. But then I got trip aces against his flush draw. He had like 3-7 of spades or something, and he got there. But, even the fact that he was drunk and I thought not playing particularly well. Once I had the chip lead, I finally made a deal. And I probably didn't make that great a deal but there was, I don't know what the chip stacks were. I didn't even ask for a count. I'm going to say, though, that I had like 4.8 million. No, probably like 4.4 million. He had like 2.8. Okay. So I had a pretty decent advantage. I said, he's like, "Come on, let's make." I said, "Okay, you can take 3,500 and I'll take the rest," which was like 6,600. Okay. He's like, mate. I said, he's like, "I'll take 4,000, you take." And I'm like, and we were, we're standing up, and he just like kind of leans over and hugs me. And Steve, I didn't realize this till afterward. It's been a while since I've been hugged. I was touched by the move. So yeah, we made the deal, and it's kind of funny. A couple of my buddies from college wanted to, call. They wanted to talk about it. And they were so disappointed that there was a deal made that I didn't actually. And they're like, "Wait, so you didn't actually win?" I said, "No, I won the poker tournament."
Yeah.
I'm like, this kind of happens like probably 50% of the time. You know what I mean? I said, because like the Venetian, like most places, like they'll foster a deal for you, but once you do, they're not going to sit there and let you play it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's money out of their pocket for labor and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I fired 4 bullets in the Colossus, and it's kind of, and I think I played 1 deep stack and the turbo, the 1K turbo I played a couple of days ago, which I guess was good that I busted out of that because then I jumped in a cab, rushed to Planet Hollywood, signed up for the later flight, and of course made a deep run in that one. Somehow navigated my way through 2,200 players, and so yeah, it's
nice.
It's crazy.
And those 2 you're not backed in, right? It's only the WSOP events that you're backed in.
Right. So that's kind of. I really want to get a WSOP score just for my backer. Well, I mean for me too, but I want to at least cash the Millionaire Maker of the. But yeah, that was kind of weird. Where I didn't really even look that close on the schedule when I put together my package. It was all WSOP stuff, and I actually said in my 2+2 staking form, well, I reserve the right to do all the smaller tournaments too. But this is like an official backing group, and they sent me to a website, so write down the specific tournaments. So they're only getting back for. They bought pieces for very specific tournaments, and so these 2 I got 100% of myself, and hereafter it will be 36% of myself actually. And I'm trying to think. I mean, the Goliath, of course. What is the Colossus? The Goliath was the name of the Planet Hollywood thing. The Colossus has I forget. I don't know how many 20,000 or 23,000 entries or something. Just ridiculous.
Wow.
I don't think I just adjusted real well to the. I don't know if it was coming off of and like to just stack size and the quality of play. You know what I mean? Like my first 2 bullets, I wasn't happy with how I played. I'd have to look. Oh, I don't know. The first one I do remember my bust out hand. I got into the top 2 pair, and the person flopped a straight. I think there's a lot of chips in play.
Yeah, I think you said you had like 9-7 or something. And they had 6-8 for the straight or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I can't come up with too many interesting hands from those. I know the turbo. I was chipping up real nicely and being pretty aggressive and opening a lot of pots. And then I 3-bet some guy, and then some with kings, and some guy behind me shoved with king 10 suited. And I mean, I'm not complaining about bad beats. I'm just describing what happened. And the guy had a run around flush, and that started my downfall in the turbo. And so I'm trying to think if there's any quick hands to discuss from last night that were interesting. Well, there's the one that Carlos wants to talk about, or that he's like, man, I want to do a podcast. And Steve's here, so you can definitely interview him because he saw me that I I opened under the gun with 9-6 off, and this wasn't really even like, but I mean, I guess it's high variance. I put a lot of chips in there for my pot. The lines were 30,000, 60,000, and I guess I started with like 1.6 million.
Okay.
1.7 million maybe.
This was the Planet Hollywood one.
Yeah, this was last night. We're down a couple tables.
Okay.
And folds around, small blind flats, and the big blind made it like 335,000.
So you opened to 120. You min raised, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The guy squeezed to 335,000, and this guy had been really active. And this, if I wanted to break it down, it was against this young Asian guy, really good. And I had position on 2 to my left, but I played 3 pots on him where he won every one, where I defended my big blind against him to his button open. And on every single one of those, I got a piece of the flop, and on none of them did I win the hand. I mean, he was just a beast. He will just barrel away. One of them, it was typical. I hit the top pair, the jack, and then they check on the turn. He bet on the flop. I called check on the turn. He got to see the river, the ace on the river, a check. He bets real big, and I'm like, well, he's certainly capable. He knows that's a good bluff card. He knows I don't have one of those.
Yeah.
So he had it. But anyways, the dynamic was that this Asian kid was like, I was really aggressive, and he was chipping up. Like this hand started, I think, like I said, he had like 2.2 million or something, maybe, I don't know. It's funny, I'm talking about the 14 players left stacks when I had like 3 million with like 30 left.
Yeah.
Like if I had 3 million there, I still would have been the chip leader at this table.
Huh.
You know what I mean? That's how many chips I had previously. But anyways, and this guy 3-bets, and it was like, squeezed, I mean, a good spot. And, I made it like 675,000 with my 9-6.
Okay.
And I'm like, and Carlos said, well, if he calls, are you done with it? I said, no, I'm shoving the flop. I said, there's too much. There's 1.4 million in there. There's 1.1 million in my stack. I need that damn pot. Yeah. Because, but anyways, he tanked forever. And I mean, he had nothing. He wasn't making it. He wasn't making a tough fold, I don't think. But he folded. And funny because Carlos afterwards, like, I decided to show.
You did?
I think, yeah, I flipped over and showed the 9-6 and a couple people jumped out of their chair. Like the guy who was in the small blind was like, I knew it. Like, because he folded like pocket tens probably or something good,
Yeah.
So that could be another side discussion of is it ever good to show? And Carlos I was just showing off for you. He's like, I thought that was it, man. Like he was like, do you have a reason for showing? I said, I thought it was just, maybe because my image, because I had so many chips and I was kind of sliding back and I was definitely tightening my range and looking for spots. And I just thought maybe this would look like, maybe I'm not the one to screw with. Or hopefully, like I really was like Carr did those last 2 hours. I think one of my tweets says I've only won two hands in an hour and a half and I still got 2 million or something.
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't know if showing there was good or bad, but I mean, it wasn't really overly relevant to the result because, I lost a few more pots and then I got it in the standard spot. Like I said, 4-bet shove. And then, if I won that, it would have been over 3 million again. It would have been, probably, I won second in chips at the two tables, maybe. I don't know. With 13 to go, or 14 to go, I would have crippled this guy. He would have had a couple 100,000.
Yeah.
So, but I played well, I was telling Carl, I kept saying, ace on the river, shaking my head. I said, he's all, I didn't like, he was a young kid and he immediately ran over to his crowd and was hugging him. I didn't like that he didn't give me a little fist bump. Say, nice play. Everyone else came over and shook my hand, before I left.
Yeah.
But, I played great. I mean, I guess that's all, like it, I had tournaments where I'm just like, I didn't make the proper call because I didn't have the nerve. I felt, like where I just basically, like the two words I used probably a few times. I said, poise and courage. I mean, they're sometimes, there's going to be those big moments where you need both of them. And,
yeah, you got to see those moments, and more importantly, when you recognize them, you got to act on them.
Yeah, but I mean,
just be like, "This is the spot."
Well, more than even strategically, I'm saying there's moments that like test your character, that test my character. Like, do I believe, I know he's making a move. Do I have, the courage to fight back, or doesn't matter how good your hand is. This person is not fucking around. They have a hand. You got to lay something good down here. So, yeah, I can't remember too much. I was riding those. I think I made some pretty good folds. They were pretty key. I don't know. I guess, I don't know if you call it luck or not, but I was trying to chip up the night before. The one hand that kind of I talked about a little bit was I opened my button. I guess this would be too long a story. We'd have to go to the dynamics with this guy because I previously folded ace queen to an under-button shove because I was like UTG +2 and I didn't, where I was at. And when someone called it ace jack, I actually told them what I had. And, anyways, this guy's like, ace queen's always good there, man. Blah, 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 blah. So, anyways, this guy, I don't know his name, but he was definitely a pro and talking about playing the 10-20 here and blah, blah, blah. Very obviously pro.
Yeah.
And, I had opened, king 5 off from the button and he 3-bet. And I had like 30 big blinds.
You shoved?
And I shoved on him.
Yeah.
And I thought he was, again, I don't know, like I said, but like I said, my image I got was, I thought it was a decent time, but my image was good. I thought he was just fucking around with me.
Yeah.
But, he folded ace queen.
Wow.
So, he's like, what pair? He's like, he's like, man, I don't need to win flips. I don't need to flip to win tournaments or something. Uh-huh. So, I mean, there's different kinds of luck.
You didn't show it, did you?
No. Well,
okay,
afterwards, cool. Well, he didn't show either, actually. But, like, you could tell by the conversation we had. He's like, what'd you have, man? Pocket nines? I said, no, man. I had king deuce. I made it sound worse when I said it.
Yeah.
And he's like studying my face. He's like, you could tell. He's like, I had ace queen. He's like, did you really have? And he got it from the table, and he's just like, it's like, yeah. And then he's thinking it through. Like, he didn't take much time to make his decision. He's thinking it through. He's like, yeah, man, I knew you were going to spaz like that. You know what I mean? Like, afterwards, he's like talking to himself. So there's different kinds of luck. And actually, when I was going, looking at my tweets this morning, it's like, I took like a bunch of bad beats yesterday. I mean, like small, you know what I mean? This was after like, it's funny when Carlos came over, I said, at some point I'm going to double one of these guys, and I just can't continue. Let's hope it's a short stack.
Yeah.
And then some guy got it in ace-5 against my ace-queen and river to straight, I think it was. And I said, well, it's good. And it turns out this guy was just a fucking beast tonight. And whenever we broke down tables and, redrew, I hit him on my left, and all of a sudden he had like 1.5 million chips, and he was just bashing me, So, that wasn't such a small pot. And, it's kind of funny how, like, this is when I was winning like every pot. And again, this is some guy shove, pretty standard shove. He shoved like 14 big blinds from the cutoff, and I had 8s in the small blind and called. He had ace-5, and I had 8s, and he hit his ace on the turn. And the dealer's like, oh, you like look at, Yeah. And the other guy's like, what's the deal, man? You're not supposed to be rooting for somebody. He told the dealer wanted me to win the hand. This is what I like, that people like me here, But
that was cool. That's cool.
And I can't remember. Oh, yeah, there was also the one where I'm not discussing bad beat. I'm not bitching. I'm just, obviously, this is... So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is kind of crazy. This is Helmuth's territory. He's always talking about, I can win a tournament without giving anyone a bad beat. I mean, it really doesn't matter, like I said. But if every time, if you have 10s and the other person has 7s, someone's been given a bad beat, and it goes in.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially. So I'm trying to think if there's any other hands that you would find. Well, here's another one that was actually very interesting, I thought. And I'm pretty sure I played it right. Although, a lot of people would question this. This is when, I don't know, probably 40 or 50 players left, I don't know. And I was over 1 million in chips. I think like 1.1, 1.2. This is when I started my build up.
Okay.
And I got switched tables, and for the first time I see someone with more chips than me, just barely.
Okay.
For the first time in a while.
Yeah.
And, again, we always just say, well, you look at him and he's a pro, but, you look at him and he's good. And like the second hand, seriously, we play, I have pocket 5s under the gun, and I open, and the flop is queen 5-4.
That's a nice flop.
Yeah, it is.
What were the blinds? Do you remember?
I'm going to say they were 10-20 at this time, let's just say. I don't know.
And how many callers you get?
Just the villain, just the guy who had me covered in the big blind.
Okay.
If it's 10-20, let's say I raised to 46, he calls. I made it 46 on the flop, and he called. And then I think I made it 90 on the turn. Turn was a 9. And I think he repopped it to like 200. So the board is 4-5, queen 9. And first of all, there's absolutely no question in the world he thinks he has the best hand here. It's not like he floated me with 10 jack and now has a piece of it.
Yeah.
He's never playing aces this way. I mean, if I ever just flat from the blinds with aces and someone's being aggressive, I'm check call, check call, check call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to get it in because, I mean, personally, certainly in this spot where the two of us each have, 75 whatever bigs, or I don't know how many, but we are the two chip leaders in the room. That I'm pretty confident. And
yeah. And what did he repop it to when you made it 90?
200.
Okay.
He's begging for action.
Yeah.
So my first instinct was on beat, actually, to be honest with you. It just seems ridiculous because he's just not playing a big pair there. Like, in my mind, he's either got a set or somehow he just feels like making a move. Because that is a line that's really, really strong that I will do. Like, where I say, if you're going to float, and if you got a certain stack depth, you got to float just not to hope that they shut down, but float because you're going to raise the turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to make it, you got to invest a lot of chips to do that shit. I mean, we've talked about this. That's like, maybe like the foundation of my game is like late street aggression, like turns and rivers. People just, if you're real aggressive on, pre-flop and flops, a lot of people just kind of know how to counter that and think you're full of shit. But,
yeah.
So anyways, I thought there was a slight chance he was taking a move that he was capable, but basically he loves his hand. And I'm already just determined. I said, I'm just checking and just hoping he doesn't overshove the river.
Yeah.
Because I'm convinced he has pocket 9s and just hit it.
Okay.
And on the river is a blank, it's like a deuce, and I check, and he bets 355,000 or something, and I snap him off. I was just grateful. I'm like, okay, even if I lost this hand, I still got 555, whatever I would have. I don't even remember the stacks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was just grateful. Even if I lose this hand, I still have 30 big blinds. And he turns over queen nine, so he had top two pair.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I really thought you had aces or kings. But me and him were discussing it. He's like, it'd be insane for the two of us to get it in now. And he said, if I reshove, he's really not sure what he have done. But he would have thought he just started playing with me. I started playing with him, and I talked to Carlos. He's like, yeah, I would have played it the same way. It's not like there's never been set over set before. And when you're, 2,200 field, you're down to 5 tables. And, your a 500K stack is still worth quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I think looking this over, I think I would have played it very similar. I don't think I would have repopped him on the turn just because, he's the only guy in the room that can bust you. And after going through over 2,000 people and you're down to 50, like that's why risk it?
Yeah. The funny thing is my reaction on the turn, I was genuinely nervous. So that got me to pay on the river. If I kind of was like, oh, well, that's not bad. We're probably going to get paid here. For some reason, I was actually nervous. So I got him to barrel on the river. Well, I didn't get him to barrel on the river. He had a monster hand. He had top two pair. And he thought he was, getting called by kings or aces. So,
yeah. Well, in his mind, he was good. That's what you were afraid of, was just his overwhelming confidence. You can feel it when people are like that, and then you find out, oh, I did have the best hand.
Well, if I had popped it, it's probably actually maybe because I was thinking about this. If he made it 200 and I repopped it, it would have been to 400. And if he called, it would have been, what? Is he fucking got top set? He's slow playing here? So it would have gone check on the river. Probably. So rather than, I would have checked behind on the river, I think. I'm pretty sure. If he had called a 3-bet on a turn. So rather than getting an extra 200, I got an extra, 350 or 360 or whatever he bet on the river. And, so anyways, and it's fine. I think this guy busted 13th right before me. So we both kind of looked at each other, and I don't know, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting hand. Well, actually, I had a similar one at the Venetian. I think I tweeted about that one. That one was pretty lame, but I can't even remember. Basically, I had just about this. I had the board crushed. I had 9s full with just a 10. 10 was the only overcard.
Okay.
But again, this young Asian guy was just, I didn't see how he would call my river shove with, just trips. Or, I was just, again, it was one of those things where I had a lot of chips, and this is one of the guys who, I forget how deep we were, let's say there was 30 players left in the Venetian 250K.
Yeah.
But I got mocked afterwards for it, but I hit a 9 on the river for 9s full, and this guy overbet the pot. And I called, and he had just trips.
Okay.
And he had king 3. And I said, well, you're not calling a shove anyways. He's like, I'm insta-calling me. I said, what am I shoving the river with? He's like, you're shoving with kings or aces. I said, no. There's 3 to flush out there. There's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This guy, yeah, it was one of those just things where I'm like, even if I lose this monster pot, I can't remember what this pot was critical too. I think it took me from 300K to 550 far. I just don't remember, but it was one of those things where I'm like, I don't have the best hand, and I can. Yeah, I think in those spots you gotta shove. Maybe that is a consideration. I don't know. The against this one guy was different because I had just started playing against him. I had been playing against this young kid for a while, and I knew he was. And I had been aggressive, so he probably thought I could shove and make a move. Yeah, that was bad. The 9's full. I mean, you're only losing to 2 hands. 10's full and quads. So I guess you got to shove and hope to get a call there by flush. But
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
How long did you take before you just called?
I took 20 seconds, and I said, "Guys, get ready for the most nittiest call of all ever." And and I just called, and of course I had to show my hand, and so that was kind of bad. Yeah, usually if I'm piling lots of chips on the river, it means I don't have anything. You know, like I have I'm totally unbalanced there. Like, you know, they say big river bets or whether you check, like if I check raise the river, it's like, I think we discussed this. It's like I check raising rivers and turns. Like, if you played me every day, you'd be killing me with it because they're just never. I mean, I don't do it that frequently, so I can get away with it. And I choose my spots well.
Yeah.
I think. I'm trying to remember. I have at least one. There wasn't really a lot of bluffing yesterday. I mean, open a lot of pots and just pound away.
Yeah.
I had one kind of Mike moment. Well, Carlos calls me Roses. Like when I made the 9-6 play, I'm like, Carlos, what were you thinking? Watch the hand. I said, uh-oh, Roses is up to his old tricks again. I have that pink hat. I have that hat with the pink roses on it. But
you have a hat with the pink roses on it?
Yeah, that's my tournament hat.
Oh, okay. All right. Is it good luck or something, or what?
Steve, I just look cool in it.
Okay.
And
that's what you call it.
Well, you know, actually, I don't even know how. I think I told him the story when I final tabled the 1K the first time I had this hat on with Will Fiala, Will the Thrill.
Okay.
And he was calling me, "Where'd you get that goddamn fucking hat?" You know, hey, Roses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Jesus. So anyway, so he was calling Roses. You really gonna try to open my big blind? So, but I had one yesterday where a guy opened under the gun, and like I said, this is something from just like online that I've changed. You can't always be 3-betting from button and cut off. Even HUDs will break. You got to mix it up. You got to open 3-bet from the blinds, from the middle early position.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't. I mean, I had like 7-8 suited. Guy opened the gun. He called, and it was I don't even know. I can't remember 9-5-4. I might have had a gutter ball or something. And I bet, and he called, and the king on the turn, and I'm like, here it goes. I'm repping the ace king, you know. And there was a lot of my chips in the pot. This was like, you know, I've been riding the short stack, and this was just when I had like gotten up probably up to 40 bigs. And I was thinking to myself, this will seem so typical of so many tournaments I have, where I fight and fight and fight, you know, to just survive. And then when I get a chips, I just blow them off. But I bet big on the turn. He tanked forever, and he kind of kept moving up his chips like he was going to like make a big raise and all that kind of shit. And he didn't. He folded. So I guess I got lucky there. I don't know. I don't know what he had. He might have had like 10s or jacks possibly, and just
maybe queens.
And this was playing again at like I'm playing at the big stack. So like in my mind, they've got to say, well, you know, this guy just wants to preserve his chips. You know what I mean? Like that's who I play at. If you got,
yeah.
You know, often playing like well, yeah, the tournament I won, the English guys like, man, why do you keep playing at me? I mean, we got all the chips. I'm like, you know, he's got a good point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, then he's the one to get the chips from. But we should be. Well, that was. I think I tweeted about that too. That was like 8-handed for like an hour and a half, just waiting for these shorties to bust. And they kept doubling me, blah blah blah. And my chip lead was maintained, until I lost the big hand to him. But yeah, for some reason, I often find myself. Well, that's not arbitrary though. That's good strategy. Like, you know, I pick my spots well. I mean, if you're picking up like the guy there where I 3-bet him and took it down. It's not. I think that was the first time I played at him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not like, and he was under the gun. So you know what I mean? It's I mean, he could have slow played his aces and, you know, gotten a lot of my chips, but you know, he thought he was second best. He thought he was second best, and I got to fold.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to coming out. It's the plane has been in the shop for a while, and we haven't been able to fly. And the mechanic just called me today, and he said, okay, I took a look at it, and because I told him, I'm like, you know, we're going out to Vegas on Thursday, and I really want to fly the plane out there. You know, I mean, we got to come back on Sunday, and Sunday traffic coming home from Vegas is just terrible. And but if you have a plane, it's 2 hours every single time. Traffic doesn't matter, you know.
I seriously would, if I can interject, I think I'd rather stick my cock in a crocodile's mouth than ride a plane with you. I mean, I just don't. Well, I'm afraid of heights, and also I don't like planes. But those little fucking puddle jumper things are just, you know, you never know. Some fucking some oaky mechanic there has left his beer can on the whatever, and
under the cowling, right?
I don't need any of that shit. No, thank you. No, I have no interest. I would never fly one of those small planes.
Most people wouldn't. But I dig it. It's so much fun. And so he gave all systems are go. So I'm gonna right after we wrap this up, I'm gonna get my flight planning on and start planning the weather and all that, and it should be cool. I'm looking forward to it. We'll land sometime, hopefully before lunch, and yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
Well, Steve, I'd like to say I'm looking forward to seeing you, but I hate to ruin the beautiful dynamic of the show where I just show you nothing but No, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we're gonna tweet at people and meet for a beer at one point. Hopefully we'll get a few people to hang with us.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
And yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm doing today. Like I told you, I thought I was playing a six max, and so the Venetian.
And it's not Wednesday.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, like last night filling out the tax form, so like put the date next to your signature. I'm like, what is the date? Like I couldn't have guessed within 4 days. It could have been May 28th. It could have been June. I mean, like it's just. Yeah, really. And I called my son the other day, and I called him right when his mother's usually driving him to school.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "Where are you going? You finish your homework?" "Dad, I don't have any homework." "I thought you always have homework." "Daddy, it's Sunday." So that's the second time I'm. But
that's
like
awesome.
I said, yeah. I mean, I don't even. I'm talking to Carlos was giving me Steve-like advice last night, pretty much saying exactly what you told me a few minutes ago on the phone. He's like, man, now you got a bankroll. You can play within your bankroll. You can come up with a plan. You can deposit on ACR, play Bovada. I'm like, I lose on Bovada. He's like, man, you're going to win on Bovada. Your fucking style there is perfect for it. It's just, you got to be patient. And I'm like, I don't even want to think about what does this all mean for like my future kind of shit. Because in the real world, an extra $50,000 in your pocket is nice, but it's not life-changing money. But for me, at least, it takes the pressure off a little bit.
Well, dude, you can quit your job now. Put on, I don't know, $5K on each site. Don't buy into anything bigger than $200, and yeah, just play.
Well, right now I don't even want to think about it. I want to enjoy Vegas, and I'm a fucking live poker whiz, man. Live tournament, elite here, and let's see if I can get another score. And I'll worry about that shit later. I know I told myself actually after this I'm not going to play any poker for a month. I'm going to take my son on a trip. And I got a buddy who owns a couple of hotels in the Cook Islands. And I think we've talked about this before. I got these buddies from college who make all this money, but, you get some cool points for poker. So my buddy calls me from the Cook Islands. He's like, man, all my friends out here want to meet you. And he's like, dude, do you realize if you go to the Venetian page, the Facebook page, your big picture's right there in the front? I said, yeah, And so this is what all these guys were talking about all day, and it's kind of cool. And if I won last night, it would have been fucking off the hook.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been ridiculous. But I don't know. So yeah, I might play the Venetian today. Probably the sensible thing to do is hang out by the pool, then go take like a 3-hour power nap, get caught up with sleep, and just go play the deep stacks today, 235. Just kind of a relaxing day.
Yeah.
And like I feel bad if I make the 1100. If I played the 1100 today and bagged. The problem is I'm fucking on a roll, and I should, that's a high value tournament. I think this thing actually has $1 million guarantee, this tournament, this $1,100 one. The field's going to be tougher. But if I bag for that, then I can't play the six max, which, I don't think.
Well, you should probably play the six max. That's the one you're backed in, right?
Right, but if you don't play a tournament, you just return the money to the people. It's not like you're contractually obligated to play the tournament. It's understood that any tournaments you don't play. And I got to say, the woman who's backing me or leads this backing group, she's like, man, congratulations on your great score. I'm following you on Twitter. Thanks for the updates. So, and quite frankly, a six max, $1,500. I'm much more plus EV in a full ring 1100, I think, than a $1,500 six max. I mean, I can adjust to a 6-handed table, but it is like a 9-handed table, like now without, not that I've constructed like ranges that are, but like I instinctively will know when I'm opening under the gun and, when I'm 3-betting and this and that, Because that's where 99.9% of my hands have played with full ring online. But
Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
I mean, I certainly could run deep into 6 max. I mean, I did it in a 1K at Borgata, and I actually think my biggest score ever online was winning a full tilt 6 max years ago. So yeah, I probably should play that and just
Oh,
recuperate.
you ran into Mark out there, didn't you?
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, he sounded interested in the meetup too. He gave me his phone number and he wants to know when that is.
Oh, cool.
And
Right
yeah,
on.
like I said, I've been meeting. You know, it's kind of cool. Like one poker pro, I was walking down the hallways like, "Congrats, man!" and gave me the fist bump. You know, because there's people on Twitter who follow Venetian Poker Room.
Right
Like I
on.
said, I got to be admit, I like the shit. I like the whatever small bits of approbation you get from the crowd here.
Of course.
And and then I sat down next to this one woman who I know had just I saw that she had just come in fourth in a 500K for like 28,000.
Yeah.
I said, nice score the other day," and I didn't think she had any clue. She's like, "Yeah, you too." You know, so it's pretty funny.
That's cool.
Say my name, bitch. Say my name. Heisenberg. You're goddamn right. No, yeah. So, anyways, the other funny thing too, I can't remember last episode where this was. We talked about the hot Russian chick I met out here.
Hot Russian girl. No, I don't remember this one.
Well, not whatever, but it really didn't. We kept trying to make plans, but I'm like always, you know, I'm like playing poker, and then she's out here on business. And, you know, it's funny. I was talking to one buddy. He's like, "Do not drink anything she hands you. She's drugging you to take your money." I'm like, "Well, I had her phone number beforehand." But it's funny. Yeah, I met her at break on the Venetian. I said, I did the old. She had her camera taking pictures. I'm like, "Would you want your picture in front of here?" Fucking these selfies things are gold here.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got her number. I said, "I'm playing a poker tournament. If I win, I want to take you to dinner." Oh, really? And of course, I won the thing. I think she thought I was bullshitting her, but then I copy and pasted the tweet that showed up. I won it. And yeah, we hung out once. You know, she's a real woman, not a Vegas floozy, whatever. We went out for coffee, got a little kiss. But last night, she really wanted to hang out. And, you know, I'm like, well, I told her I'd be busy. I told her yesterday I would definitely be free for the night because I thought the turbo, you know, or 99% sure. And, of course, I went over and regged at Planet Hollywood. So the next, whatever. I told her I'd be totally free yesterday. But I decided because the turbo would be over. You know what I mean? I was just not going to play poker yesterday. But the Monday night, I had gone over and done the Planet Hollywood thing, or Sunday night, whatever the fuck it was. So it wasn't available. And I told her, well, you know, the thing is, I start at 4. I have no idea how long it'll take. I could be out soon. And she's like, well, I really want to go out with you tonight. So I'm getting all these tweets. She's like, I'm drunk. Don't you want to come see me? And I'm like, no, I mean, for a guy who's, you know, yeah, basically it's like a lot of guys, it's a hot chick, you know, too, like would have just, but you know, poker comes first here. So no, there was no difficult decision to make, but it's pretty funny. You know, I've been starved for female affection here for a while, and here was one who was out there. And she's leaving today, going back to Moscow. So.
Oh.
Oh, hold on a second. Lilia just Skyped me and asked me when I'm coming to Moscow. So you never know. Maybe it's not done. Okay, man. Well, I gotta do something. Go to bed, take a shower, register for a poker tournament. I will not be jumping out of a window today though, because I'm in a pretty good mood. But
Good.
I guess I'm able to deal with the emotional side. No, I mean I was angry when I busted last night. I said low card, low. I'm like ace, you know, because I asked Carlos. I mean I'm so fucking tired. Like, what was my reaction? Did I scream no or anything? He's like, no, you just said ace. And you know, they counted out the chips. We were close, but I was one of those things where I was so dejected and so miserable. You know, like people feel bad for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like a couple of, and yeah, I was going. Oh, there was the fucking. They had like the little, you know, the whoever the Planet Hollywood, you know, who does the blogs, this hot young chick, you know, she does little interviews, you know, every little bit does.
Yeah.
So she was, she had like a diamond that could like rip a Volkswagen in half, you know, on her finger. So it wasn't really, but I thought she was kind of taking a shine to me. And she's like, you know, she looked at me like, I'm so sorry after that. But, you know, she's,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a tough floor when these floor people take you over and do the payouts. Because they always, when they walk you to the cage, it's always like the same thing. It must be nice, on one hand you're getting, what are you going to say? But I was sitting there waiting for my payout, and it was taking forever because some other guy was supposed to be in front of me, didn't have his passport. That guy was Canadian. These poor damn Canadians, they take money out right away or something.
Yeah.
And I wait forever, and the woman was kept touching me in the arm. She's like, "You played great," and she's like, "Look, no, just jump back in there. No one's looking. Maybe you can get back." And I just couldn't be. There's no consolation at this point. I just. I don't know. Like Carlos again was like, he's like, man, he's like, I learned things by watching you play tonight. He's like, if you can do this twice in 1 week, you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I said, well, because I was given the whole, just like kind of the Borgata thing. I said, man, just these six-figure scores are not easy to get. There's only so many times, I don't care how good you are, you can go through 2,000 people fields, especially for smaller buy-ins. If we're talking bankroll management and, $500 and $1,000 are my buy-ins, then, but whatever. I mean, obviously right now, purpose of this conversation is to talk about how I'm kicking Vegas' ass, and I've done really well so far.
Yes, yes. I can't wait to get out there, man. I'm looking forward to the flight. That's going to be fun, and then landing and getting picked up by my family, and it'll be a quick trip, but no traffic, which will be freaking awesome, and it looks like the weather's going to be wonderful, and yeah, that'd be cool. It's hot out there, right? I texted my mom. She said it's like 100 every day.
Probably.
I mean, it's like shorts weather, right? Don't wear pants, or?
No. Well, yeah, it was like the funny thing is one time, what was this? I don't even want to get into it. Yeah, when I met the one woman, I had to come, I met her, well, basically I had to come back and be here to play poker at some point. And, the cab line at the Venetian was like, they told me it would be 35 minutes long. So it was like 80 degrees. And I had a sweatshirt on, and I sprinted back to I ran back to the Rio. Like, my mind is just muddled. What was the situation? But it was nighttime. What could I have been doing nighttime? Was it on a dinner break? I can't remember. Oh, no. That's right. The Colossus, they had a special, 11:45 p.m. start time.
Okay.
Where you could buy in for 12 big blinds. I mean, this is kind of crazy, but I run it up for, so I ran the first because I only pre-registered for three events, trying to be confident. Yeah. And quickly, the fourth one, the registration was closed, but if you wanted, you could register for 11:45, even though it started at like 7. Okay. So basically, but you were going to be in there after like 8 levels. Yeah. With only 5K in chips, so. And the funny thing is I turned that 5K into like 14K, and then I lost ace king, to ace queen. Oh. I had ace king. So I would have I could have bagged that night, Yeah. I could have run it up, but, that's right. So I met this woman over there at the Venetian like 9 o'clock. I'm like, I just gotta leave at like 11:10 for a cab. And I went down there, and there's the most ridiculous cab line ever. And like a person in the back said, oh yeah, they told us like 30, 40 minutes. And, first of all, me standing in line is just something that I'm not, physically, emotionally capable of. Yeah. So I decided that I was gonna, and the streets were so crowded, it was like, you couldn't really run even though, you know what I mean? Because there'd be just such a throng, like I'd be able to run like for 100 feet, and all of a sudden I have to walk slowly and try to net. So it was pretty it was pretty funny though. I mean, just, but you can't be late for one of those fucking things if you sign up for it with 12 big blinds.
Oh God, no. No, one rotation and you're down to 10 and a half. And it's like, I'm sure they got antes by then too, right?
And so I slipped into Flamingo Road, and I was still running, and I ran past this one guy, and then I'm like looking at my watch. I'm like, okay, I got 9 minutes or whatever it was at the time. And this guy's kind of behind me. He's like, are you in the 11:45? Mm-hmm. I'm like, so I let him catch up, and he just got off a plane. I don't know what his deal was. And I'm like, yeah, I was running. He's like, I think we're on pace, mate. And, I don't know why I keep saying mate. I think this guy, well, he was Canadian, but, so we together walked real fast. It was funny. Once we hit the Rio, then he ran ahead of me. And I sat down about 90 seconds before it started. And, yeah, I don't know if my backer would like that admission that my fourth bullet, which it was only 585, and, but, that I bought in short for. But even then, I think it was a worthy investment. And, like I said, if if I didn't hit that jack on the river and just run it up and win the Venetian, Colossus would have just put me over the fucking edge, man. Cause like, I think I tweeted, it was just like, people had no concept of stack size. You'd three bet someone and they'd open with 17 big blinds. You'd three bet them and then they'd flat.
Huh.
And then like one guy, it was like ace 8-8 and he turned over 10-8. You know what I mean? Like, It was like not even out of position. He wants to see a flop with 10-8, the concept of, stack depth is like totally foreign to at least half the people in this field. Wow. But, so I kept, losing all my chips to, and then, the night I bought it for 12 big blinds and ran it up to 14K. And then finally I did like a standard shove, like 9 big blinds under the gun with pocket fours or something. And the guy under the gun +1, like snap calls. I'm like, oh fuck, he's got pocket 10s or something.
Yeah.
And, he has queen 10 suited. Which is about, if you think about it, just position. He's got 6-7 people that act behind him.
Yeah.
And like at this point, if I've got, say, 6,600 chips, he's got like 11 or 12,000. I guess he's committed to calling whatever goes on behind him.
Yeah, he's going to call whatever happens behind him. Wow, that's bad.
Yeah, I like some. Yeah, even from the big blind, I think it's a fold when you get chips in the pot and you're closing the action. Yeah. So this was about as bad. That's the kind of stuff you'd see. And I think some people said this, like the amateurs the suited cards they just can't get away from anything like suited too,
Yeah.
Like every suited ace looks so beautiful, and you just don't get to flush that often.
Yeah.
But he called me with queen 10, and he hit his card.
Huh.
So I was
Well, that's weird.
Like I said, if it wasn't for this other stuff going on, although if I leave Vegas, I'm still here for 12 more days. If I get 12 days of not winning any money poker will put me in a little bit of a foul mood, regardless of what's happened prior, probably.
You're going to do fine, man. You're going to do fine.
We'll see. Okay, man. Well, I'll see you in a couple days, I guess.
Okay. And you guys can hit us up on Twitter at HUP Podcast. We'll be up on there. Facebook, Heads Up Poker Podcast. Email us at headsuppokerpodcast@gmail.com. And check out our blog, headsuppokerpodcast.blogspot.com. You guys have a great week. Good luck, Mike. I will see you shortly in a few days. And here is your weekly motivational speech.
Whatever you're doing, stop doing what you're doing. I got a question for you. What do you want? It's real simple. What do you want? Because there's some things in life you're not going to get. They're not coming to you. You got to go take it. There's some stuff that you can't even just earn by doing a good thing. It's not going to happen with you in the bed dreaming about it. It's not going to happen with you in the shower thinking about it. Sometimes you just got to will it. You can stay where you are. You can. But you can't stay where you are and try to go where you're going. So what sacrifices this year are you willing to make? Because there's somebody out there who wants your spot. There's somebody else trying to get a scholarship. You're not the only one trying to go to Yale. You're not the only one trying to go to the NBA. You're not the only one trying to go to the NFL. I'm asking that the 24 hours in your life be very intentional, very deliberate, that you be very strategic. I'm asking that the entire week, 7 days, you're very deliberate about what time you wake up. You're very deliberate about what time you go to bed. You're very deliberate about what you eat, what you don't eat. Why? Because every day matters. That's right. Every day matters. So you got to embody excellence. Every single day has to be excellent. Every single day you wake up, you got to give it all you got. You got it 120%. And so you got to change your mindset. We got to stop looking at pain as if it's something negative. All roads to success, you got to go through pain. When you travel down success, you got to go through the road of pain, baby. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It only takes one extra push-up. It only takes one extra mile. It only takes one extra raise. It only takes one extra effort. It only takes one extra something to get you to where you're trying to get to. And the goal is, you got to go a little further than the man who's trying to get what you're trying to get. You got to stay up a little longer. It's not going to be easy. But I want you to feel that pain going through your body. And as pain leaves your body, guess what's going to take its place? Success. You live the life that you want to live.